1977. And Mithu was at this time already the oldest roadie in Germany, and he's still around. He's now 86, and we still work together. So that's in the end what for me is the most important thing. That it's more than work, it's passion and, in the best way, friendship for life. So, and I'm happy that I still have this guy, and we had the experience at this time, because today it's much, much different, but some things keep staying for our whole life.
What are the challenges today, if you compare it to the past?
I don't know if it's so much different. Every time has his parts. And 1997, there was maybe more regulations than now. The size was different. That's the one thing. Yeah, I mean, 30 years ago, the biggest place in Germany was maybe the Sporthalle in Cologne. There was 6,000-7,000 people, or the Festhalle. But now you have all this arena, so it's much, much bigger. The technical thing is, now it's not anymore roadies, it's event technique, and you can learn it in school. You can, it's a job now, more than a job. It was in the old days. You just need the passion and the interest, and today you need to go to school because it's much complexer with the technique, and so that's, I think, the big change. We have now an industry, music industry and a technique industry. And 1977, there was no industry. It was, every band had his own equipment. That was the first different. So every band has his PA, 24 lamps, and a little truck, or a Mercedes truck where you drive together with a band to the next gig. Even bands like Pink Floyd did this like this 76, 77. So that's, and you don't have this touring, which is now every 2 years, 2 months. He was on tour for the whole year. We play every week 3, 4, 5 shows. And you live together mostly with the musicians in one house, or at least in one town. And so that was a big difference. And
if I may step in there, being on tour, I know that you always prefer to have women in your touring crew.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, well, because it's normal. I think if for me it just takes, it's not if you're female or male or black or green or white or big or small, it's just you must do it. Yeah, and women, of course, do things mostly with more precise and on the point than men. So, but it was never the most important thing. You must take the best people, and also it brings in every team a much better attitude. Of course, rock and roll was 100% man thing, also with the talking and all this rock and roll to sex, drugs and rock and roll stupid thing, which never was. It was just like a phrase. For me, it's just when I try to take the best possible people.
Okay. And over all the years, you have worked in so many various fields. How did you stay flexible in your mind?
Yeah, I think the most difficult thing is you can get a job, but to keep the job for 30, 40, 50 years, right? For example, with Peter Maffay, that's a hard thing. But in the end, I have a couple of rules. Rules are for me just is the political thing. So I think there's a border I never will do. And I keep it always consequent that I try to do things which I like to do and not things which I must do just for money, which is hard sometimes, but in the end, it's attitude which is important. Yeah, I mean, you never do things which you just do because in the first time it looks good or for the money. Then you survive longer.
Let's take a look into the future. What do you see as some of the most exciting trends or opportunities on the horizon? Yesterday we had artificial intelligence as a topic. Do you see this as a threat for lighting designers or as a usable tool to enhance the possibilities of creativity?
I mean, I see this what Yo-Yo Tillman he showed me is this thing, and I think it's, I don't know. If you know, I have no ideas, maybe, yeah, but in the reality, how I want to do this with whatever, with Udo Lindenberg or with the act, yeah, I mean, it's, I think it's, what is for me, it's much more important. I mean, also here on this fair, the whole scene has not started to see what's coming on. It's a climate thing, it's energy thing, it's a lot of crisis. And what me wondering most is that the bands which are around, which are most dinosaurs, yeah, they, the shows get even bigger and bigger and bigger instead of getting more effective or smaller even. So, and it's a fact you have a few really big acts which are promoted from Live Nation, from one promoter in the whole world. They belong the arena, they belong the act, they make the money, and the small acts, it's getting harder and harder. So this gap is getting bigger and bigger, and so I think the big bang will come in the moment when everything gets even more expensive, and when all these dinosaurs, which like Elton John or Udo Lindenberg or Bruce Springsteen in 5 years' time are dead. Yeah. And then, so that's the thing. And the most, which has changed most, it's in the 70s, 80s, you try to build up an act with the things that how longer act is around, how better it is. Since the voice and all this formats, it's changed. You need every year, whatever, 5,000 new acts which are not playing really live. They're playing and next year you need 1,000 more. So it's a totally different system. And in the end, it will be more, one side will be producing things in a TV studio for shows which are worldwide the same concept, like The Voice, which is in Dutch, or the American Idol. And on the other hand, there will be always live concerts. This is something we learn from the crisis, that the people, as soon the places was open, live concerts, nobody wants to have a video stream. So
let's see what will happen. We mentioned Udo Lindenberg several times in this talk, and I know that you're working currently on a show and in an exhibition with him. Is he still a big fan of the shoulder ball, where you are preparing all your production?
Yeah, of course, it's a good possibility to see what you get in the end. Yeah, and this is an interesting project because it's in the Kunsthalle Rostock, which is a famous place, at least in the East. And the exhibition is not only Udo as a painter, it's Udo as a Gesamtkunstwerk, because he's doing shows since 50 years. And to let the people show how the show is being created and how much work there is, we bring now this show labor in the museum. So it's that people who have nothing to do with our concert scene see a bit behind the scene.